Did you know one man transformed the financial world, turning what was once a playground for the wealthy into an opportunity accessible to millions? While Wall Street thrived on high fees and lofty promises, Jack Bogle dared to defy the system. Called a dreamer and met with skepticism, he proved that simplicity, ethics, and low costs were the keys to true success. His revolutionary ideas didn't just change how we invest, they changed who could invest. Bogle's creation of index funds and his mission to serve the investor first forever reshaped the financial landscape. Ready to discover the story of the man who made wealth building a possibility for everyone. The visionary who democratized investing, Jack Bogle, one of the most influential figures in modern finance, was born on May 8, 1929, in Montclair, New Jersey, during the Great Depression. Growing up in a time of economic turmoil, Bogle developed a unique perspective on the economy and how it shaped the lives of ordinary people. From an early age, he exhibited an extraordinary intellect and insatiable curiosity, qualities that would later fuel his transformation of the financial industry. Despite his family's financial struggles during the crisis, Bogle stood out as a determined and diligent student. He was an avid reader, constantly seeking knowledge and challenging conventional wisdom. His youthful curiosity soon found a focus: the financial markets. To him, the world of money and investments seemed complex, inaccessible, and reserved for the elite, something he resolved to change. His academic journey played a pivotal role in shaping his vision. While attending Blair Academy, a prestigious preparatory school, Bogle excelled in mathematics and economics, earning a reputation as an insightful thinker. It was during this period that he began to imagine a financial system that could be fairer and more inclusive. Though just a teenager, his ideas hinted at the groundbreaking changes he would bring to the industry. Bogle's next step was Princeton University, where he received a scholarship and embarked on a transformative academic journey. His senior thesis, "The Economic Role of the Investment Company," became a blueprint for his future work. In this groundbreaking paper, he argued for the importance of reducing costs and focusing on long-term investment returns. Radical ideas at the time, but ones that would define his career. Bogle believed that investors deserved greater transparency and efficiency, and he wasn't afraid to challenge the status quo. In addition to academic achievements, Bogle gained valuable life lessons from working humble jobs during his youth. These experiences taught him the virtues of discipline and hard work, values that would become integral to his philosophy. He believed that true success came from perseverance and a commitment to practical, ethical solutions. By the time he graduated from Princeton, Bogle was armed with a vision to revolutionize the financial world. His mission was clear: to make investing accessible, ethical, and beneficial for all, not just the privileged few. Thus began Bogle's journey into the financial industry, journey that would ultimately lead to the creation of one of the most transformative innovations in modern investing, the index fund. But how did he turn a simple concept into a global financial revolution? That story unfolds in the next chapter. The early career of Jack Bogle. Spotting inefficiencies in the financial system after graduating from Princeton University, Jack Bogle entered the financial world with a mix of youthful enthusiasm and a restless desire for change. His first significant role was at Wellington Management Company, one of the leading investment firms of the time. It was here that Bogle began to explore the inner workings of the financial industry, using his analytical mind to identify inefficiencies that many others overlooked. At Wellington, Bogle quickly established himself as an exceptional thinker, immersing himself in market data and financial strategy. He uncovered a troubling pattern: many investment funds consistently underperformed the broader market. The culprit: high fees and an overemphasis on short-term trading. This revelation planted the seeds for Bogle's groundbreaking idea: a low-cost, long-term investment vehicle that would later reshape the industry. Despite his growing expertise, Bogle faced resistance from his colleagues and superiors. His ideas about prioritizing the interests of investors and minimizing costs were seen as idealistic and impractical. Yet he remained steadfast, using every opportunity to advocate for changes that would benefit everyday investors. His passion for fairness and efficiency set him apart in an industry focused on profits for a select few. Bogle's strategic mind was evident even during challenging moments. He played a key role in orchestrating a merger at Wellington that initially seemed promising but eventually led to a significant crisis for the firm. This setback became one of the most important learning experiences of his career. Bogle admitted his mistakes and emerged from the ordeal with a stronger conviction that investors' needs must always come first. As he rose through the ranks, Bogle began to see the financial world for what it was, a system dominated by an elite few, offering little opportunity for the average individual to build wealth. This inequity ignited a sense of purpose in he realized that the financial industry could and should be more inclusive, giving everyone the tools to invest and grow their wealth regardless of their starting point. These formative years were not without personal and professional challenges. Bogle often clashed with those who were deeply entrenched in traditional practice. His rebellious approach to innovation made him a polarizing figure within the industry. But for Bogle, the resistance only fueled his determination to pursue meaningful change. It was during this period that Bogle began laying the foundation for his masterpiece, the creation of a new type of investment company that would revolutionize the market, combining simplicity, efficiency, and accessibility. He envisioned a future where investing was no longer a privilege but a right. With his vision clear and his resolve unshaken, Jack Bogle was ready to take a bold step forward. How did he turn this vision into reality? The next chapter reveals the remarkable story of how Vanguard Group was born. The creation of Vanguard Group, the birth of a revolution in the early 1970s. Jack Bogle faced a pivotal moment in his career. After a high-profile conflict within Wellington Management Company, he was dismissed from the very firm he had helped shape. What could have been a devastating setback became an extraordinary opportunity. Determined to turn adversity into innovation, Bogle founded the Vanguard Group in 1974, a company destined to redefine the financial industry. The name Vanguard was inspired by the flagship of Admiral Horatio Nelson during the Battle of the Nile, symbolizing leadership, courage, and the willingness to navigate uncharted water. From the start, Bogle envisioned Vanguard as a different kind of investment company, one that would serve the interests of its investors above all else. To achieve this, he structured Vanguard uniquely. The company would be owned by the funds it managed, and by extension, by the investors in those funds. This groundbreaking model eliminated the need to generate profits for external shareholders, allowing Vanguard to focus solely on reducing costs and maximizing returns for its clients. Bogle's vision was both radical and simple. Investing should be straightforward, affordable, and accessible to everyone. He believed that high fees and excessive complexity were the biggest obstacles preventing ordinary people from achieving financial success. With Vanguard, he set out to create a system that prioritized transparency, efficiency, and fairness, qualities that were rare in the industry at the time. The defining moment of Vanguard's early years came in 1976, when Bogle launched the Vanguard 500 Index Fund, the first index fund available to individual investors. The concept was revolutionary. Instead of trying to outperform the market, most actively managed funds failed to achieve consistently the index fund aimed to mirror the performance of the S&P 500. This approach drastically reduced costs by eliminating the need for high-priced fund managers and frequent trading. Despite its brilliance, the Vanguard 500 Index Fund was met with skepticism, even ridicule. Critics labeled it Bogle's folly and dismissed it as un-American, arguing that it represented a surrender in the quest to beat the market. The fund's initial offering raised only $11 million, a far cry from the $150 million goal. Yet Bogle remained undeterred. He knew that time and data would prove the superiority of his idea. As Vanguard grew, it also became a pioneer in investor education. Bogle believed that empowering people with knowledge was just as important as providing them with the right tools. Through plain language resources and consistent advocacy for long-term investing, Vanguard helped millions of investors navigate the complexities of the financial world with confidence. The creation of Vanguard wasn't just the birth of a company. It was the start of a movement that democratized investing. By aligning its success with the success of its clients, Vanguard became a symbol of integrity and innovation in a world often criticized for its greed. But how did Jack Bogle turn this fledgling concept into a global phenomenon that would forever alter the way people invest? The answer lies in the remarkable rise of index funds, a topic we'll explore next. Concept of index fund, simplicity and efficiency in investing. When Jack Bogle introduced the Vanguard 500 Index Fund in 1976, he wasn't just launching a product, he was challenging the very foundation of the financial industry. At its core, the idea behind index funds was both radical and refreshingly simple. Instead of attempting to beat the market, a task most active managers fail to accomplish consistently. Why not simply match it? Index funds operate by replicating the performance of a specific market index, such as the S&P 500, which tracks the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States. By eliminating the need for high-paid managers and the constant buying and selling of security, index funds dramatically reduce costs. For Bogle, this efficiency wasn't just a feature, it was the cornerstone of his vision to empower everyday investors. In the early days, however, the concept faced intense criticism. Wall Street elites dismissed index funds as unambitious and uninspiring, branding them as a concession to market forces. Skeptics argued that investors would always prefer active strategies with the promise of outperforming the market. Bogle, however, saw through the noise. Armed with data and unwavering conviction, he knew that lower costs and broad diversification would make index funds a winning choice for most investors over the long term. The real beauty of index funds lay in their alignment with Bogle's philosophy of investing. Focus on the long term, minimize unnecessary risk, and avoid the temptation of chasing short-term gains. He believed that market timing and stock picking were often futile endeavors, and his data-backed approach reinforced this belief. By offering a low-cost passive investment vehicle, index funds became a perfect tool for those who wanted to grow their wealth steadily and responsibly. Bogle's innovation also democratized investing in a way that was previously unimaginable. Before index funds, building a diversified portfolio often required substantial capital and expertise. With Vanguard's funds, anyone from a middle-class worker to a young student could invest with as little as a few $100s and gain exposure to a broad market. This accessibility changed the narrative, making investing no longer an exclusive privilege of the wealthy. Over time, the data proved Bogle right. Study after study confirmed that, after accounting for fees, index funds outperformed the vast majority of actively managed funds over extended periods. This validation turned the Vanguard 500 index fund from a ridiculed experiment into one of the most popular financial products in the world. Beyond the financial advantages, index funds also influenced investor behavior. They encouraged patience and discipline, discouraging impulsive decisions driven by market volatility. This was precisely what Bogle envisioned, a tool that not only generated returns but also instilled a healthier, more sustainable approach to investing. Today, index funds have become a cornerstone of the global financial system, managing trillions of dollars in assets and helping millions achieve their financial goals. But the path to this widespread acceptance was anything but smooth. The story of how Bogle overcame industry resistance and criticism to bring this innovation to life is a testament to his resilience and vision. A story that continues with the challenges he faced in revolutionizing the market. The challenges faced by Jack Bogle, overcoming resistance and adversity. Jack Bogle's journey to transform the financial world was far from smooth. Introducing index funds and challenging the status quo meant taking on a deeply entrenched industry, one that thrived on high fees and complex strategy. From the outset, Bogle faced skepticism, criticism, and outright hostility from financial elites who viewed his ideas as a direct threat to their profit. One of the earliest and most significant challenges came with the launch of the Vanguard 500 index fund. Many in the industry ridiculed the concept, branding it as un-American and likening it to admitting defeat in the quest to outperform the market. At its initial offering, the fund raised only $11 million, far below the $150 million target. For most, this would have been a discouraging failure. For Bogle, it was a stepping stone. He remained steadfast, confident that time and evidence would vindicate his vision. The pushback wasn't limited to external critics. Here, within Vanguard itself, Bogle encountered resistance from those who doubted the viability of index funds. Convincing his own team to embrace a revolutionary approach required extraordinary leadership and persuasion. Bogle's ability to align his colleagues around a shared purpose, putting investors first, was crucial in overcoming internal obstacles. The broader financial industry posed another formidable challenge. Wall Street's business model, built on high fees and promises of market-beating performance, was fundamentally at odds with Bogle's long-term approach. Many firms launched campaigns to discredit index funds, arguing that they were overly simplistic and unsuitable for serious investors. Despite these attacks, Bogle responded with patience and data. demonstrating time and again that most actively managed funds failed to justify their higher cost. Bogle's mission also required him to educate the public. At the time, most individual investors were unfamiliar with concepts like passive investing or the impact of fees on long-term returns. He worked tirelessly to bridge this knowledge gap, using plain language to explain how index funds worked and why they were a superior choice for most people. His dedication to investor education became a hallmark of Vanguard's identity. On a personal level, Bogle faced challenges that tested his resilience. His relentless work ethic and passion for his mission often came at the cost of his health. He suffered a heart attack in his 30s and later underwent a heart transplant. Yet he never wavered in his commitment to reshaping the industry. These personal trials only deepened his resolve, reinforcing his belief in the importance of building a legacy that would benefit millions. Through it all, Bogle's unwavering focus on his principles, transparency, fairness, and putting investors first enabled him to turn critics into allies and skeptics into believers. His ability to stay true to his vision, even when it seemed impossible, was a defining feature of his character. The challenges Jack Bogle faced weren't merely hurdles. They were catalysts for growth and innovation. Each setback strengthened his determination to prove that the financial world could be better, fairer, and more accessible. And as his ideas gained traction, they began to reshape not just Vanguard, but the entire industry. But what impact did Bogle's revolution have on the everyday investor? The next chapter explores how his work democratized investing and changed lives around the globe. The democratization of investing, how Jack Bogle empowered ordinary people. Jack Bogle's mission wasn't just to create innovative financial products, it was to fundamentally transform who could participate in the world of investing. Before the advent of index funds, the investment landscape was dominated by the wealthy, with high fees and complex strategies acting as barriers for the average person. Bogle innovations changed all of that, ushering in an era where building wealth became a possibility for millions. At the heart of this transformation was accessibility. By drastically reducing costs through index funds, Bogle made it feasible for everyday investors to enter the market with minimal capital. Suddenly, you didn't need a large fortune to benefit from the stock market. A small, consistent investment could now yield significant returns over time. This shift opened the door for middle-class workers, students, and retirees alike to take control of their financial future. Another groundbreaking aspect of Bogle's approach was simplicity. Investing had long been seen as an intimidating, overly complex endeavor. Bogle sought to change that by educating investors on the basic principles of diversification, low cost, and long-term focus. His plain-spoken style and straightforward advice resonated with millions, helping them navigate the financial world with confidence. Bogle also championed the idea of investing for the long haul. He warned against the dangers of short-term speculation, emphasizing instead the power of compounding returns over decades. This philosophy not only aligned with the design of index funds, but also helped shift the mindset of countless investors. For many, the focus moved from chasing quick profits to building stable, lasting wealth, a fundamental change that brought stability to portfolios and peace of mind to their owners. The societal impact of Bogle's work cannot be overstated. His innovations enabled people from all walks of life to participate in the economic growth that had previously been reserved for the wealthy elite. Teachers, nurses, small business owners, and others could now invest in the same markets as Wall Street professionals. This leveling of the playing field wasn't just a financial achievement, it was a moral one, rooted in Bogle's unwavering belief that everyone deserved a fair shot at financial security. Bogle's influence extended beyond individual investors. Pension funds, charitable organizations, and other institutions adopted his low-cost, passive investment strategy, maximizing their ability to serve their stakeholders. By prioritizing efficiency and transparency, these entities were able to generate greater returns for the people they represented, further spreading the benefits of Bogle's vision. Over time, the popularity of index funds soared, and Vanguard became a symbol of trust and integrity in the financial world. Bogle's work didn't just create a new way to invest, it redefined the relationship between investors and the market, empowering people to take charge of their financial destiny. But how did Bogle's principles evolve into a timeless philosophy that continues to guide investors today? The next chapter delves into the enduring wisdom of his investment strategies and the lessons they offer. Jack Bogle's philosophy, ethics, discipline, and long-term vision. Jack Bogle was not just an innovator, he was a philosopher of finance. His groundbreaking ideas were deeply rooted in a set of enduring principles that prioritized simplicity, integrity, and long-term thinking. For Bogle, successful investing wasn't about luck or complex strategy, it was about adopting a disciplined and ethical approach that served both the individual investor and society as a whole. Central to Bogle's philosophy was his unwavering commitment to ethics. He viewed the financial industry as a service-oriented field, where the primary goal should be to benefit investor, not enrich intermediary. This conviction was evident in Vanguard's unique structure, which made the company owned by its funds and, by extension, its investor. By eliminating the profit-driven incentives of traditional financial firms, Bogle ensured that Vanguard could operate solely in the best interests of its clients. Discipline was another cornerstone of Bogle's philosophy. He consistently emphasized that the biggest enemy of investors wasn't the market, it was their own behavior. Market fluctuations and media hype often tempt investors to make impulsive decisions, but Bogle believed that success came from resisting these urges. His mantra, "Don't just do something, stand there," captured his belief that patience and consistency were far more effective than chasing short-term gains. Long-term thinking was perhaps the most defining feature of Bogle's approach. He likened investing to a marathon, where endurance and steady progress trumped speed and flashy moves. His data-backed perspective showed that the vast majority of actively managed funds failed to outperform the market over time. Bogle's advice was simple but profound. Buy the market, keep costs low, and stay invested. This philosophy empowered millions to build wealth without succumbing to the pitfalls of speculation. Bogle also championed the importance of cost efficiency. He famously said, "In investing, you get what you don't pay for." By minimizing fees, taxes, and other expenses, investors could retain more of their returns. This focus on costs was revolutionary at a time when high fees were the norm, and it became one of Vanguard's defining principles. Simplicity was another hallmark of Bogle's philosophy. He believed that many investors unnecessarily complicated their portfolios with an array of funds, strategies, and individual stocks. Instead, he advocated for a minimalist approach, often suggesting that a combination of two funds, a broad-based index fund for stocks and another for bonds, could meet the needs of most investors. This simplicity was not only practical but also accessible, empowering even novice investors to make informed decisions. Bogle's philosophy wasn't just about maximizing returns. It was about aligning investments with life goals, whether saving for retirement, funding, education, or achieving financial independence. Bogle encouraged investors to focus on what truly mattered. He argued that investing wasn't an end in itself, but a means to a more secure and fulfilling life. Finally, Bogle's humility and integrity shone through in all his work. Despite his monumental achievement, he always emphasized that his innovations were meant to serve others, not his own ego or wealth. He lived modestly and remained deeply connected to the principles he preached, making him a figure of trust and inspiration for generations of investors. The wisdom of Jack Bogle's philosophy continues to guide millions today. But how can these timeless principles be applied in practical terms? The next chapter explores the actionable lessons he left behind for investors seeking to navigate the financial world with confident clarity. Jack Bogle's lessons for investors, practical wisdom and timeless strategies. Jack Bogle's investment philosophy is a treasure trove of practical insights that have helped millions of people build wealth and achieve financial security. His advice wasn't wrapped in technical jargon or lofty promises. It was straightforward, actionable, and grounded in common sense. Here are some of the most valuable lessons he imparted to investors. 1. Costs matter a lot. Bogle famously said, "In the financial world, you get what you don't pay for." He repeatedly emphasized that high fees and expenses erode investment returns over time. His solution: focus on low-cost index funds. By avoiding the hefty management fees associated with active funds, investors can keep more of their money working. A practical example of this lesson is choosing a Vanguard Total Stock Market Index fund, which charges a fraction of the fees compared to actively managed funds. 2. Diversify your investments. Diversification is a cornerstone of Bogle's philosophy. He advised investors to spread their money across different asset classes to reduce risk and increase stability. His two-fund strategy, a broad index fund for stocks and another for bonds, provide a simple yet effective way to achieve diversification. For instance, holding 60% in an S&P 500 index fund and 40% in a bond index fund offers exposure to both growth and stability. 3. Embraced the long-term. Bogle was a staunch advocate of long-term investing. He warned against market timing and short-term speculation, which often lead to costly mistakes. Instead, he encouraged investors to stay the course, letting time and compound interest do their work. For example, an investor contributing consistently to a retirement account over 30 years will likely see exponential growth compared to someone who jumps in and out of the market. 4. Keep it simple. Bogle believed that complexity often leads to confusion and poor decision. He advocated for a minimalist approach to investing, focusing on broad, low-cost index funds rather than chasing trends or exotic financial instruments. His advice: don't look for the needle in the haystack, just buy the hay. This simplicity not only saves time but also reduces anxiety. 5. Focus on your goals. Bogle reminded investors that the purpose of investing isn't to outperform others but to achieve personal financial goals. Brief. Whether saving for a home, funding education, or planning for retirement, he encouraged people to keep their objectives front and center. Tools like Vanguard's retirement calculators can help investors align their investments with their life plans. 6. Control your emotions. Market volatility can trigger fear during downturns or greed during rallies. Bogle stressed the importance of staying calm and disciplined, reminding investors that short-term market movements don't dictate long-term success. His advice: tune out the noise, focus on the signal. By maintaining a steady hand, investors can avoid the pitfalls of panic selling or overbuying. 7. Educate yourself. Bogle believed that knowledge was the key to confident investing. He encouraged everyone to learn the basics of finance, including the impact of fees, the importance of diversification, and the value of patience. Books like The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by Bogle himself offer a wealth of guidance for beginners and seasoned investors alike. 8. Prioritize low costs over promises. Bogle's research showed that most actively managed funds fail to beat the market after accounting for fees. He urged investors to avoid chasing performance and instead focus on minimizing costs, which are one of the few factors within their control. These lessons are not just theoretical. They've been proven by decades of data and the experiences of millions of investors. But what makes Bogle's teachings truly extraordinary is their simplicity and universality. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting, his advice can help you make smarter, more informed decisions. But how has Bogle's legacy influenced the financial world on a global scale? That's what we'll explore in the next chapter. Jack Bogle's legacy. Transforming the financial world forever. Jack Bogle's impact on the financial industry extends far beyond the creation of index funds or the founding of Vanguard. His legacy is deeply embedded in the way millions of people approach investing today, reshaping the relationship between investors, institutions, and the markets themselves. One of Bogle's most significant contributions was democratizing access to investing. Before his innovation, financial markets were often seen as exclusive domains of the wealthy, filled with high fees and complex products that alienated ordinary people. By introducing low-cost index funds, Bogle made it possible for anyone, regardless of their financial background, to participate in wealth building. Today, a teacher, a retiree, or a young professional can invest with the same efficiency as large institutions. A revolutionary change. The ripple effects of his work transformed the financial industry. Vanguard, the company Bogle founded, now manages over $8 trillion in assets and stands as a model of investor-first principle. Its unique structure, where the company is owned by its funds and their investors, has inspired a rethinking of corporate governance across the industry. Other firms have adopted similar strategy, lowering costs and focusing on transparency to stay competitive. Bogle's philosophy also popularized long-term investing over short-term speculation. His emphasis on patience and discipline shifted the focus away from market timing and high-frequency trading, encouraging a broader audience to adopt a stable and sustainable approach to wealth creation. This mindset has become a cornerstone of modern financial education, influencing both individual investors and institutional practice. The rise of index funds, once ridiculed as Bogle's folly, is another testament to his enduring legacy. Today, index funds account for over 40% of all investments in mutual funds in the U.S. and are growing rapidly worldwide. they've become a go-to choice for investors seeking simplicity, low costs, and consistent returns. This widespread adoption is a direct result of Bogle's vision, which turned a niche idea into a global phenomenon. Beyond numbers and innovations, Bogle's ethicals left an indelible mark on the industry. He wasn't afraid to challenge practices he deemed exploitative, such as excessive fees or misleading performance. His outspoken advocacy for the little guy inspired a cultural shift, holding financial institutions more accountable and creating a system that better serves the average investor. Bogle's influence is also seen in the rise of socially responsible investing. As index funds gained prominence, their massive scale began to shape corporate behavior. While Bogle himself expressed concerns about the growing power of fund managers, his work paved the way for discussions on how investments can align with broader social and environmental goals. The financial world today is a reflection of Jack Bogle's principle. From retirement accounts to college savings plans, his innovations continue to make investing more accessible, efficient, and ethical. Save for countless individuals, Bogle's work has been life-changing, providing tools and guidance to achieve financial security and independence. But his legacy isn't just about what he built, it's about how he built it with humility, integrity, and an unwavering belief in the power of simplicity. His contributions remind us that the best ideas are often the simplest, and the most enduring impact comes from putting people first. As the financial landscape evolves, Jack Bogle's lessons remain a guiding light. They challenge us to think not just about what we can gain, but how we can invest in a way that benefits everyone. And while Bogle himself may no longer be with us, his vision lives on in the portfolios of millions, the policies of countless firms, and the principles that continue to shape a fairer, more inclusive financial system. How Jack Bogle's teachings continue to shape the financial world. Though Jack Bogle passed away in 2019, his influence on the financial industry and individual investors remains profound. His principles of simplicity, cost efficiency, and long-term focus continue to guide the way people invest, while his legacy of innovation inspires ongoing improvements in how financial systems operate globally. Perhaps the most visible sign of Bogle's enduring impact is the continued growth of index funds. What began as a single experiment with the Vanguard 500 index fund has grown into a cornerstone of global investing. Today, trillions of dollars are managed through index funds, providing investors with low-cost, diversified, and transparent options. These funds have outperformed most actively managed counterparts over time, validating Bogle's vision and reshaping the investment landscape. Beyond the success of index funds, Bogle's ideas have fundamentally shifted how financial institutions serve their clients. Vanguard's investor-first structure has set a standard for prioritizing client interests over profit margin, forcing competitors to lower fees and adopt more transparent practices. This ripple effect has saved investors billions of dollars in unnecessary costs and brought a level of accountability previously unseen in the industry. Bogle's teachings have also influenced the broader culture of investing. His insistence on long-term strategies over short-term speculation has encouraged investors to focus on stability and discipline, even in volatile markets. Educational initiatives inspired by his work continue to help individuals understand the power of compounding returns and the dangers of emotional decision-making. Even as new trends emerge, such as ESG, environmental, social, and governance, investing and fintech innovation, Bogle's principles remain relevant. His focus on reducing costs and keeping investments simple serves as a timeless reminder that complexity often benefits intermediaries more than investors. By staying true to these fundamentals, financial products and platforms can continue to evolve in ways that empower individuals. Bogle's impact is also deeply personal. For millions of investors, his innovations have turned financial security into a reality rather than a distant dream. Whether through retirement saving, college funds, or simply the ability to grow wealth steadily, Bogle's work has transformed lives in ways that go beyond dollars and cents. As the financial world moves forward, Jack Bogle's legacy remains a guiding force. His unwavering belief in the power of simplicity, fairness, and integrity serves as a beacon for investors and institutions alike. And his story reminds us that real innovation doesn't just solve problems, it creates opportunities for everyone. The question now is, how will you take the lessons Jack Bogle left behind and apply them to your financial journey? Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your strategy, His principles offer a roadmap for building wealth with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Jack Bogle didn't just change the financial industry, he changed lives. Through his vision of low-cost, transparent, and accessible investing, he empowered millions to take control of their financial future. His ideas reshaped the way we think about wealth, proving that simplicity and discipline can outperform complexity and greed. Today, his legacy lives on in every index fund and in the principles that guide countless investors. Bogle's work wasn't just about building a better financial system, it was about building a fairer one. The question now is, how will you use his lessons to shape your own financial journey?